mind with these things.
The Bible, sir. Have you read Corinthians?
Yes, and the
Well,
Bible.
then it says I'm not allowed to speak in church because
Now,
it's a shame for me.
the Bible says in 1 Corinthians chapter 7 that the wife belongs to the husband.
Of course, it's property as like a sheep.
Do you know the very next verse?
What is that verse?
The very next verse says, and the husband belongs to the wife.
I don't believe you. Can you show me that? No one belongs to anyone. Exactly.
Well, that's what marriage is.
Why am I
In marriage, you give yourself to the other person. Why would I use the word property?
And why is that even
1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 3. Would you like to see?
I'd like you to read it.
The husband must fulfill his duty to his wife. And likewise, the wife to her husband.
Alright, but that's not what you said.
The wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does.
What the fuck?
And likewise also.
Am I a sheep?
And likewise also. The husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does. Would you like to see?
Yeah. They're saying they have equal.
And so, yes, hey, when I got married, I gave myself to my wife. I belong to her. And yes, she belongs to me. I am no longer my own. I belong to her. She is no longer her own. She belongs to me. That's what marriage is, folks. You give yourself to one another. All right?
I have a question about marriage.
Now, isn't that something? Your name is? Marilee? Marilee, isn't that something that someone told you? Someone told Marilee, and I don't know where you heard it, whether in a class, on the internet, where. Someone told you that the Bible says the wife is the property of the husband, and the second half of the same sentence, says, and likewise the husband is of the wife, and you got this idea the Bible's this mean, wicked, sexist, anti-woman book. Anti-woman book.
Why can't I speak in church?
Someone only quoted you half the verse.
No, I gotta pay like.
I did, 1 Corinthians 7.
I don't care about that verse. Tell me why I'm not allowed to speak in church.
Well, time out now. You don't care about that verse? You really want to know the truth?
Why I can't speak in church?
Why don't we go in for your Paul smoothie? Just text.
All right, in 1 Corinthians 14, number 35 says, I do not allow a woman to speak in the church.
Right, because it is a shame for me to speak in church, because if I have any learning, I must learn it from my husband.
Can I finish?
Sure.
Maybe you'll learn something like you did in the last one.
Wow.
1 Corinthians 14, I do not allow a woman to speak in church and be silent. She has a question, let her ask her husband at home. All right? But how about chapter 11?
No, tell me, no, I don't care. Tell me about that one.
Well, I am. I'm not leaving, and I'm not leaving. I'm coming back. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 tells us this about women. It talks about a woman who prays or prophesies in the church. In other words, she's making noise. She's praying or prophesying. She's speaking. But 3 chapters later it says she can't speak. But she's got to ask her husband at home. So how do you fit these two together? She's allowed to pray in church. She's allowed to prophesy in church. But if there's a question, you've got to ask her husband at home. She's got to be quiet. I think what I would say, by the way I would interpret those two, is that if in fact there is a conflict, a controversy, what he's saying is talk about it at home first. And then come, see, I gotta understand.
Why isn't it the same for the man?
Barely, I guess I'm dealing with a whole different paradigm. See, the Bible values the family. The Bible sees a church. The Bible sees a church not just as a bunch of individuals, but a collection of families. And yes, the father is to be the head of the home. And so they talk about this as their family, and then they bring it to the church. But she's allowed to pray in prophecy.
Why are you allowed to beat your children if they talk
Yeah, why am I allowed to be beaten?
It says if you talk back to your parents, they can beat you.
Listen,
They can be
Or
stoned to death.
sell you into
are you saying the Bible says you can be beaten for what? Being a woman?
Disobeying your parents. Not for being a woman, but if I disobey my husband, may I be beaten? Is he okay to beat me in the name of God?
We're not talking about the Quran.
I'm talking about the Bible. Please disagree.
The Bible nowhere says a man can beat his wife.
It says a man can beat his children.
Now the Quran does.
The Bible.
In the Quran it says if your wife doesn't submit, you start by reproving her, and if that doesn't work, then you don't sleep with her. Which I always thought, man, that's punishing the husband. You know, if the wife doesn't obey the husband, Islam says, number one, you reprove her. Number two, you don't sleep with her. And I'm thinking, man, you don't sleep, that's not punishing her, that's punishing the guy. Until you realize they're polygamists. That means you sleep with another one. And if that's good on work, then you can beat them. Yes, sir.